And Jurgen, was you wearing your Corona face mask and were you keeping 6 feet? 'Cause it didn't always look like it, mate.
Of course. You need to be cool in these times. And it's not cool to not wear your face mask. So please, everybody, wear your face mask. I wear my face mask. Big Verge, Trent, we all wear it. And we all dance.
So I even questioned you, Jurgen. Thank you for calling in the show. We're absolutely honoured to have you on the air. You've got a question for us, I believe.
Yeah, boys. Now that I have wrapped up the league for Liverpool, I can focus on a more important league, which is Fantasy League.
Absolutely.
Me and my coaches at Liverpool, we have our own mini league, and I'm not doing too well, but I still want to win. I'm a winner. So my question is, I still have some chips remaining. I have my wildcard, bench boost, even my free hit. Unfortunately, I used my triple captain already on Salah, and he didn't play. I don't know what I was thinking then, even though I picked him. So yeah, my question is, boys, is that when should you use those chips? Do you think that is an opportune time? The league is on the line for me, boys. I welcome your insight. I think you guys are cool. I want to win at the end and say these boys left back in the changing room are boom.
Thank you, Jurgen. Lovely timely question as well. That is bang on the money. Pellers, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great question there, Jurgen, and thanks for calling in. Pleasure to have you here. I think it's a great question, and I think there will be many of those holding out for their chips, maybe until the last day. I think the ones that are lower down in the league, they'll probably be using them soon to try and boost them up the league. I think those at the top will probably be keeping one in their back pocket to try and really just solidify their position. I think the triple captain, most people probably already use that. To be honest, it's too tempting. I think, in certain game weeks, especially the double game week, I think bench boost might have already been used as well. But I imagine there's at least either a free hit or a wild card for those who saved it. So I would say one of those two. I think you've got to use one of them now or within the next 2 game weeks, and then I think you've got to keep one in your back pocket for the last day of the season, because you never know if you've got some ground to make up. It would be nice to keep that and just focus on those key teams who are either battling for survival or going in for that top 4 finish. So I think, use one now within the next 2 weeks and keep one in your back pocket if you can. How about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, mate, I think that's some solid advice there. And I would say, for me, I used my triple captain recently. I use it on the first game week back. I put Aguero triple captain. Didn't start the first game, did come on. Started the second, got injured. Wasn't brilliant, but he got me 24 points, so better than some have done on their triple. I know you got just 3 points or something when you used yours. Not to rub it in or anything. Every season, yeah. But I would say, unfortunately, the bench boost, I don't feel like there's a great time to use that one. There's no more double game weeks. I think you've got to look at, when are their favourable fixtures. And I'm kind of tempted almost to bench boost the last game of the season. But at the same point, bench boosting last game of the season, are the top players going to be rested or not? I think as you go on throughout the season, I think what you've got to do is perhaps save your free hit for maybe the last game of the season. Wild card, I'd be using it, as you say, right now. Now's the time to use the wild card. I should have actually used my wild card already. I completely missed this. Having seen Liverpool now win the league, and obviously Jurgen can perhaps fill us in if he's going to play the players, but I'm sure you're going to perhaps rest a few. Isn't that right, Jurgen?
I cannot say. I will tell you. But not today.
I like how diplomatic you are, and even showing you triple captain Sally yourself when you left him out of your team. It just shows that there's no corruption. I think that's the angle you're going for there. So very, very honourable of you, Jurgen.
Thank you.
But yeah, I do think that you're going to rest a few. So I think Liverpool may rest a few. Man City again. Nothing massively to play for. So I feel like the wild card is time to use it now. And the players we've already mentioned in the beginning of the show, Fernandes, Danny Ings, these boys that are hitting the performances in and out, doing well in these first few games are the ones to get in. Even, Wan-Bissaka to a degree that's hit the ground running. I think
Jimenez is playing well. He's come back well.
Yeah, they're the ones to get in. And clean sheet-wise, Wolves and Man United, 3 clean sheets. So, United did let one against Spurs, which was an awful goal. But, yeah, so that's what I'd be saying. NVD, what about you? Do you think that there's a better time to use For me, I'm struggling between when you use that free hit and the bench boost.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty locked on to free hit being the last game of the season. I think you both called it out in terms of rotation and who actually kind of plays on that final day. But at the same time, you might get all teams actually just playing their full strength because it's the last day of the season. So yeah, 100% free hit for game week 38. I think kind of you just probably got to look at maybe some of the favourable fixtures to then use your bench boost. But I think you're absolutely right, Jimmy Ferg. I think now is absolutely the time to use your wild card. Yeah, I did the silly thing, and I got two transfers this week. So I don't know. I'm either going to just have to go with them or actually play my wild card. But you're right, I think time's kind of wasting away now. You've got to get in some of those differentials now, never, to kind of make up that last leap in your mini league. So yeah, wild card now, bench boost maybe in kind of the next game week or two at the latest, and then free hit final day.
Yeah. And what I would add, final thing I wanted to add on the bench boost, I do think what you've got to look at is the teams that are vying for the Champions League at the moment. So that's your Leicester, your Chelsea, your Man United, Wolves are still in there, Tottenham are still in there. What I'll be looking at is the weeks where those 5 teams have got perceivably easier fixtures, and hopefully Man City and Liverpool have both got easy-ish fixtures as well. So the actual game week that I've kind of marked down is game week 35 myself for that bench boost, and try and stock up on players at Liverpool, Man City, Spurs who've got Arsenal that week, Man U have got Southampton, but Leicester have got Bournemouth, which is potentially an easy one, and then, as I said, Wolves have got Everton. So that's what I'll be looking at. So Jurgen, hopefully that's helped you. Wildcard, get it in now, sir, right now. Jurgen, are you there still?
I am. I have been busy taking notes. Thank you. It's great. Honestly, great. Thank you for the advice. I will for sure use it. I still think I can win the league, and I will be telling all the boys next season to start listening to the podcast. It's mandatory.
Yes.
And Jimmy, I know you want to come to Anfield when it's safe, and we will have you We will have you standing next to the 6 European Cups that we've won, seeing as you've only experienced half. So thank you.
What a legend. I do love old Jurgen. Getting the digs in. NVD, you must have said it in the script. I'm telling you, that sounded like I come directly from you, mate.
Not at all. I can't speak for Jurgen because Jurgen speaks for all of us. So good on Jurgen.
And Jurgen, how far are you behind the other Liverpool staff in the league? Are you close?
There is 50 points between me and Pep Linders. He is number 1. But I will either fire him so I become number 1, or I will try and do it the right way and listen to your advice, and I'm for sure I'll become number 1.
Both good strategies, Jurgen. The second one's more admirable, but you do what you have to do. Thank you ever so much for ringing in. We really do appreciate it. Fantastic.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Your grandeur nature on the show. You're absolutely welcome. Continue listening, Jurgen. We are going to run through a few fixtures now that will actually perhaps help you even close the gap in your own league. So we're going to do a bit of a rundown of game week 33, 34 and 35. So all 3 of those game weeks will come fairly fast upon us. Game week 33, Saturday the 4th of July. That is the deadline to get your teams in. Game week 34, Tuesday the 7th of July, so just 3 days later for that game week. And then just 4 days later, game week 35. So, Rikki, Pelligrini, you've been looking at a few of the teams over these next 3 game weeks. From your perspective and your angle, which teams have got good fixtures where we should perhaps look in, and where perhaps should we be steering away from?
Yeah, so I want to kick it off with Man City, because that's going to be an interesting one, right? So what do they do now? They can't win the league. Obviously, they want to solidify their position, but I think it's safe to say they're going to be in the Champions League. But they are going to be focusing on the Champions League, no doubt about it. They've lost Aguero now to injury, so I think Jesus is going to be a massive, massive contender for really finishing a lot of goals for City, because they're still going to create tons of chances. We mentioned Mahrez earlier on. Their next 3 games, we've got Southampton, Newcastle and Brighton. So that's a very favourable set of 3 fixtures there, right? So all in the green, let's say. So you would expect Man City to be rolling those teams over pretty easy. You've got the likes of Phil Foden, who's come on the scene.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Throughout this season, he's a youngster. He looks really confident. He's comfortable on the ball, ahead of his years, I would say. I can see him getting some time, going towards the end of the season, especially with the whole rotation. And he looks blinding. He gets up the pitch. He gets involved in goals. He creates. He shoots. To call out those 3 players there. So Mahrez, Jesus, and Foden there, and of course Sterling as well, because he's come back. He's still looked pretty sharp. Didn't quite do it a bit earlier in the season, so I'll be looking out for him.
And do you think that De Bruyne is going to be playing still, or do you think we're going to see this rotation?
I think that De Bruyne will play, but his minutes will be managed because of the Champions League. So it's going to really consist on, if they stay in the Champions League, I think Pep's going to protect him naturally. Again, there's kind of no point really, chasing anything more in the Premier League. As long as they're comfortable, they're picking up the points. It'll be a case they might go up 2-0 against a team like Southampton or Newcastle, and then they'll probably just use most of those 5 substitutions, and then again the likes of Phil Foden.
I mean, I like that shout of Phil Foden with the 3 games City have got as well. You certainly mentioned, they're fairly, perceived lesser teams in the league. So I can imagine actually Phil Foden getting some minutes there. Very good call.
Absolutely. So the next team I'll talk about is my beloved Hammers. So now to get this out of the way, they're absolutely diabolical on their return. They've got no fight. We've got nothing up front. Haller the Hammer has been.
Where's Haller the Hammer?
Haller the Hammer. We desperately need him back. If he does come back, I would say I'd expect him to get a couple of goals or 2. Haller the Hammer. So as West Ham as a whole, we have Newcastle, Burnley, and then Norwich. So they are more favourable fixtures compared to the likes of what we've had recently. Obviously, we've got Chelsea tomorrow. We've had Wolves, and we've had Tottenham. So some 3 pretty hard games. But it's the manner that we've been playing. You kind of touched upon it earlier. Those teams down the bottom, it's almost like they're too scared to go out and attack. They're trying to sit, 11 men behind the ball and then just break on the counter-attack. But it's just not going to cut it, right? These teams that we're playing, West Ham, we've got Newcastle, Burnley, and Norwich. We have to come out. We have to steal some points because they are all massive, massive games. If we've got any chance of not playing Rotherham next season, then we have to pick them up, right? Haller the Hammer is expected to come back this weekend fit, so he might feature against Newcastle. If not, then they say for certain be Burnley and Norwich. So I imagine getting on the score sheet. We really need that outlet up front. The only bright spark for West Ham has been our lad Bowen as well, the new signing. He's been the only one who's really consistently looking like he's going to do something. He hit the post against Spurs. He runs at players. He takes them on. He looks pretty fearless. And they're the sort of players we're going to need in a relegation scrap.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. He is pretty quick, isn't he? And he's quite a skillful sort of direct player. I quite like him, actually. I think, when you come up against some of these lower teams that are more around you, that could be where he shines.
I agree. He did so well, earlier in the season. Obviously, played half the season in the Championship, and he got tons of assists and was always amongst the goals. So I think against the lower teams, I think he will thrive. And the fact that he has been a standout player against the tougher opposition as well, I think a lot of eyes will be on him. Knock on wood, he stays fit, and we create those chances. I think Declan Rice looks superb, to be honest with you. He's probably another one, the only one I would shout out. He just looks solid. Anything he does on the ball, so composed. I'm sure all the big clubs are going to still be after him this summer. So that'll be my shout out for West Ham. Obviously, I'm hoping we turn it around, hope we pick up some points, and it's going to come down to the last day of the season, I think, with the relegation scrap. We do have Aston Villa on the last day, so that could be a decider for that. The only other team I want to touch on is Arsenal. Not so much in terms of a favourable fixtures, but I think some challenging fixtures coming up, especially with the likes of question marks over Aubameyang. He hasn't scored since he came back. Yeah. We've got Wolves, Leicester, and then Tottenham. For me, just with Arsenal's defence, inconsistency. I just don't see them picking up tons of points. I think the only bright spark for Arsenal is Nikita. I think, he has been starting to play consistently since coming back, from the break. Pepe has looked all right for Arsenal as well. He's not been too bad. But overall, I would kind of be steering clear. Aubameyang